The grill is shot. The chairs are held together by optimism. And what happened to the rug? Sounds like your outdoor setup is not ready for patio season. Fix it all with Wayfair. Shop Wayfair for grills, rugs, furniture, and more. With 20 million 5-star reviews, room of choice delivery, and expert setup on qualifying orders, it's never been easier to do more for less. Get 10% off your first eligible purchase. Hurry to wayfair.com or download the app now.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, so I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing, they're easy to toss in my bag on the go, plus they're vegan, gluten-free, and HSA and FSA, eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
With the 17th overall selection in the 2026 NHL Draft, the Utah Mammoth are proud to select from the Windsor Spitfires, Ethan Belchetz.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, you hear it right there. The Utah Mammoth make a selection, number 17 overall in the NHL Draft. They select Ethan Belchetz from Windsor, a big, strong forward to come in and help this team down the line. That's kind of how hockey prospects work. But, Alex, it was a really busy night for the Utah Mammoth. Things get rolling around 4:15. The rumor comes out that the Mammoth are in talks with Boston to trade forward J.J. Peterka to the Boston Bruins, and they do. They end up getting 2 first-round picks for J.J., pick 23, and then a 2028 top 10 protected first-round pick from Florida. Honestly, not a bad haul for a player that was benched in the playoffs.
Not a bad haul, and I think, and ultimately, right, you turn around JJ, which first of all, JJ Peterka, wish him the best. For some reason, his one season here just didn't seem to work out the way that everybody wanted it to work out, and so you move on from JJ Peterka sooner rather than later. But you do turn that 23rd pick and then retrade it and end up getting a goaltender. So it ultimately turns out to you move on from JJ and you bring in some goaltending.
Yeah. And so that is part of the busy night for the Mammoth. Yeah, they're sitting there with picks 19 and 23.
Yes.
And initially when the trade is made, when they trade JJ away, the thought is that they're going to maybe package both of those picks with some other picks and maybe some prospects and take a big swing at somebody like Jason Robertson or Larkin or some of these other big names that could be available. Instead, they trade up from 19 to 17 and take this kid Belchetz. And then with the 23rd pick, they flip that for Sebastian Cossa, a goaltender prospect from Detroit. And The Athletic put out a list of each team's prospect pool rankings a little while ago. And Cossa was actually ranked as the top prospect in Detroit's system by The Athletic in that list. So this is a dude who was drafted, I believe... Oh, the year spaced me. But he's not going to sit in Utah's system anymore. He is expected to come in and compete right away with Veggie, not necessarily to be the starting goalie for the Mammoth, but at least be the backup, right? Yeah. Because goaltending was a bit of an issue for the Mammoth last year. Vanacek had, some ups and downs. Veggie himself had some ups and downs as well. So they're getting a prospect in Sebastian Cossa, who, frankly, Detroit Red Wing fans are pretty PO'd that they're losing.
I did see some of that reaction from the Red Wings side of things, where they were pretty not happy to let go Sebastian Cossa. So I think that from a Mammoth perspective, I think that should excite fans a little bit more when there's that type of reaction to losing a player.
Yeah. And as far as the selection they did make, Ethan Belchetz, Stephen Ellis, a guy that we have a ton on the station. He's the prospect analyst for Daily Faceoff, a pretty big, obviously, hockey organization. This was his little write-up about Belchetz. I call Belchetz the chaos conductor because he uses a 6'5" frame to push his way into scoring lanes. Few defenders know how to handle that. Many OHLers called him the toughest player to play against. He just needs to do that consistently. So it sounds like in the OHL he was just bigger and stronger than everybody and used that to his advantage. Obviously, there are bigger and stronger players in the NHL, so he won't be able to do that quite as much. But the size is what stands out because that's where the Mammoth were lacking in their playoff series against Vegas. And it's not like this dude can come in and contribute to the Mammoth right away because he's only 18.
Right.
It's going to be a couple years before the Mammoth see him on the ice. But it's very clear with some of these other guys like Simashev and Boot and Mavlam, right? Bill Armstrong is clearly targeting Cole Baudouin as well, clearly targeting some really big, strong prospects all across the ice, not just forwards or defensemen. Even this Kosa dude is huge. He's like 6'8".
Yeah.
Right? So they are adding size to the Utah Mammoth, and that's what matters.
And that's a great thing, right? Because that's obviously what you needed in the Stanley Cup playoffs this last year. But the thing that I find interesting too is that looking at Ethan, he was looking at some of the pre-draft prospect rankings and some of where the where the NHL had him is that they had him as the number 11 prospect in this draft. And so I think, the Mammoth see him fall a little bit. They're at 19, 17's coming up. They see an opportunity to trade up and get the guy that they want, get a guy that they think can come in and, in the future be someone that can be relied upon. And so they make that move and they move up and take him at 17. And so this is the someone who was ranked number 11 now falling to you at 17.
And he fell because he had a clavicle injury that ended his season. That's the rumor. He says he's feeling great, so we'll see. The Mammoth, by the way, just made another selection in the third round of the draft. They selected center Adam Valentini, 96th overall. He played at Michigan last year. 5'10", 187, so back to a kind of smaller prospect, but we'll see if he ever turns up in the system. Some of these later round picks you don't really know. But back to the point earlier, talking about J.J. Peterka, sending him away and getting, starting the process of all these trades that the Mammoth made last night. You mentioned earlier that Peterka never really seemed to fit in during his time in Utah. And by the end of it, last night when he was traded away, I don't think there was a tear shed in Salt Lake City. And to tie that, honestly, to an earlier conversation, talking about the Jazz bringing in Darren Peterson and how rabid fans go when things work out, we kind of saw a lot of fans turn on J.J. Peterka during the playoffs when he no-showed. And, of course, the Bear benched him, right? But he didn't have very many fans left in Salt Lake City after his playoffs because of, I guess, the failure to meet expectations. The Mammoth traded away a fan favorite in Josh Doan to bring this guy in, and they say they have these expectations for him, and he never meets those.
Right.
And that's when you see the fan base turn. That's when you see the passion of this fan base, right? They do get upset when players fail to meet expectations, and, I don't blame them one bit because they have every right to be, hearts full for the Utah Mammoth. But I think that's a really good example of, if you're playing well, you've got this city in your hands. And if you're not playing well, see ya.
Yeah,
see you later.
I think in other sports, it doesn't turn as quickly as things I think go for JD Peterka. But again, I think the initiative from the front office and the initiative from GMBA and from the people making the decisions for the Utah Mammoth to quickly try to turn that around and improve. Another thing that I think really that could have improved for the Utah Mammoth this season, which of course was that goaltending, right? This was the domino that led to to Kosa coming in. It just goes to show that they're serious about wanting to make sure that they improve for next season and making sure that they're going to make the right moves that are going to put the Mammoth over the top to potentially go on and win a playoff series, and not just be in a spot where Vegas made the we had Vegas on the ropes, Vegas made the Stanley Cup Finals, we're in a good spot. No, let's go out there and let's make some moves to make sure that we can actually go out and win a playoff series next season.
You don't want to trick yourself into thinking that you're close if you're not. And I think you're kind of alluding to this as well. Credit to GMBA for willing to move on from this, for acknowledging, he's not the best fit, Peterka, right? Let's move him now and see what we can get for him. And frankly, 2 first-round picks is a great haul, right? So I think it's a great move all in all. Still stings to see Josh Doan in Buffalo and being the face of that organization. He was there at the draft last night.
He's excelling, man.
And he had a great year.
Yeah, he's excelling.
And that stings, but again, you do what you can do, and you're always on the move trying to improve your team, and I like that about GMBA. Sean, you are a Boston Bruins fan. Quick thoughts on acquiring JJ Peterka.
I love it for both sides, honestly.
Okay.
I'm stoked. I think he fits better for the Bruins, and like you said, getting 2 picks for Utah, it's a good deal all around.
We'll see if he can revitalize his career.
I think he will. He's playing with Pasternak. I mean, one of the best goal scorers in the world.
There we go. Let's go ahead and hear from Bill Armstrong. Obviously, we don't have enough time to play the whole thing. We will have it posted on the podcast feed. But I do want to hear, because we didn't get to hear last night during the NHL draft, we didn't get to hear his thoughts after the conclusion of the first round. So here's GMBA talking about his selection of Ethan Belchetz and the trade of JJ Peterka.
A busy first day of the draft. Let's start. Let's start with the trade that you did, getting 2 draft picks. You then churned one around to get Kosa. What went into that decision process?
Well, there's a lot of thought process behind that. We've got some really good younger players coming, and I felt like we had to create a little bit of room for them in some areas, in some offensive situations. And I think, JJ was a great player for us. Obviously to get 2 first-rounders for him, it's a great value. 1 first-rounder allowed us to go get one of the goaltenders we've been hunting for the last few years. And then I think with the other pick, it allows us to have some ability to make some bigger deals down the stretch with another first-rounder in the bank. And so I think it gives us a lot of flexibility. It gives our younger guys an opportunity and gives us an opportunity to put a young kid in net that we feel is going to chance to really take a step and maybe be a goaltender of the future for us. You never know.
Where does Ethan fit into the picture, and why did you guys trade up to get him?
Well, he's a power forward. When they say power forward, he's a power forward. He's got a lot of great hockey sense. I love his game. He thinks the game at a high level. He's a big man. He can do a little bit of the nasty sometimes and take care of business too. He's a great kid. We did a lot of work on him. We weren't sure that he was going to be there when we were picking, and we had to trade up to get him. But we love who he is. We love the size, the hockey sense, the ability to play tough and hard. He's going to fit right into our culture.
Do you feel like Kosa's ready to be a backup goaltender in the National Hockey League?
We do, and I think the reason why is if you look at his work in the American League over the last few years, he's at the point where he's accumulated enough games in the American Hockey League at his age is absolutely perfect, and now he's going to have that opportunity to take that next step. And I feel like with goaltenders, it's hard. He gets to a certain point in an organization, and it's just. The time it's ticking, and it's hard to draft goaltenders and bring them all the way through the process. It's a tough position when you're drafting somebody and say, hey, well, we're going to see you 6 or 7 years down the road. You got to be patient with them, and I feel like he was a goaltender that we move towards, and he has a chance to really step in here and be a huge piece of our club next year.
How does that trade affect Michael Rabel, if at all?
Well, I don't think it does. I think, with the goaltending, Michael's got to go down to the American League, and he's got to take the next step down there. And it takes a little bit of time to do that, and he's got to accumulate a lot of games, a lot of starts, and a lot of experiences down there, and to take the next step. And you never know. I mean, he could be up here by the end of the year. You don't know with goaltending, and I think it's important, to always have enough goaltending and enough really good prospects in our organization. And he fits the mold for us that Sebastian does at this time, and he's also going to be a good role model for Michael, and I think he's going to be a great goaltender partner for Veggie. He's an unreal human being, so we're really excited about acquiring him.
And then just back to JJ, do you have any sense of why it didn't work for him here?
I don't know if it didn't work for him. I think for us, on our side of it, there's just more good young players coming. And I think we created a spot now for a little bit of competition where one of the young guys can jump in there and go grab it. And there's still a bit of work to be done in free agency that we need to kind of work for and see what free agents come our way that could help our club. So I think there's a lot of things we can still do to improve the club, and some of those young guys are going to take a step and help us out in that improvement.
You mentioned those young guys pushing. Who are, maybe if you could name 1, 2, or 3, and then like we have Dev Camp coming up obviously the next few days. What are you looking for out of those guys? Well,
I think they'll be motivated. So I think they're going to be excited about coming in. I think, some of the big guys for us are the Aguinlas and the Denoyers and the Baudouins and the Gabe Smiths and, Mr. Belchetz, who we just drafted too. Those guys are going to come into camp excited, and they know there's a spot there and there's opportunity for them, and they're going to come in just fired up and ready to go. And I think for them, having a little bit of that opportunity is a great thing. You never know. One of those kids could have a huge impact. And we didn't even talk about Daniel Boot, who had a huge year in the American League and played well for us when he came up. He's going to have an opportunity too.
And then you mentioned it had been years that you've been looking at Sebastian. When did he come on your radar, and when did you get the feeling that he might become available on the? Well,
it's funny when you do a lot of research in the draft, and in that particular year, in his draft year, we did a lot of work on him, and we had one of our scouts, Randy Hanch. He was a part of the team that drafted him back in the day in the Western Hockey League to Edmonton, along with Dylan Gunther. So we've always been following him for a long time. And goaltenders take time, so we've been along for the ride, watching and scouting and doing some work and seeing if we could, have the ability to acquire him one day, and we did. So,
what's your favorite part of Ethan's game?
Well, I think my favorite part about his game is his touch and feel and understanding the game and just around the net. He's got some ability to score. I think that's a huge. I don't know, just his hockey sense at times. He just knows when to go in there to get the puck, and when the puck's lying around, he's got some scoring ability. So, it's hard to find guys like that that are that big with some sense and some ability and some toughness too.
Drafted a lot of big boys over the last couple of years. How do you incorporate that size into your style, which has a lot to do with speed?
Yeah, I think our scouting staff is pretty good at of trying to mix and blend, the Logan Cooley's of the world, and then you've got the big men like Daniel Boot and that kind of stuff. So I think that they do a nice job at really, blending, not only the size and speed and skill and the different identities that those players bring. So I think we're a well-rounded organization when it comes to drafting. I mean, we always talk about size. People notice our size, but they also notice our speed. And so it's a big part of our culture and what our scouts bring and how we teach, what we're looking for to them. And they go out in the field and do that. But, I mean, there's guys that are big guys, but they're only 5'10", like they're strong and powerful guys too. They might not be 6'5". We like those guys too.
Okay, got a little yappy, so we didn't get to play all of GMBA. But we're going to have that posted on the podcast feed. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can look it up. Go to KSLSports.com. That's an easy place to find it. So let's go to break, and then on the other side, we'll get to 5 minutes of. Got some big trades in the NBA that we got to hit. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Miami, July 5th and July 31st. Ice Cube's Big 3 is back at the Amerant Bank Arena, featuring big stars like Dwight Howard, Joe Johnson, Lance Stevenson, and more. And featuring your home team, the Miami 305, led by Michael Beasley. Grab your tickets now at big3.com/tickets or Ticketmaster. Presented by iHeart.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles. It is time for 5 minutes of running out of time in the show. We still got a lot to talk about. And Alex, we're basically going to name this segment the NBA trade edition of 5 minutes
Yes.
of. Few big trades this week, none bigger than, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks sending Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat for an absolute haul, including Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Yakichonis, and 3 first-round picks.
It's quite the haul for Giannis. I think obviously, Giannis Antetokounmpo with what he's been able to accomplish, with him being who he is, I think that's a price tag that warrants making a move like Giannis Antetokounmpo. However, what have we learned about the last 2 NBA championships as far as what it takes to win an NBA championship?
Depth.
You got to have depth. And when you trade away all your depth for Giannis Antetokounmpo, did this trade really make Miami better?
If Giannis ran, if the title window closed in Milwaukee because it was Giannis and a bunch of nobodies.
Yes.
The Heat have to trade everybody they have to get Giannis, and now he's in Miami with a bunch of I get that he's with Bam Adebayo.
And again, yeah, no disrespect to Bam Adebayo, because I think Bam, Bam's awesome and Bam does a really great job. However, you look at the rest of the lineup and it's like,
who? But at least you're in Miami.
I mean, sure.
If you're going to be on a bad or I shouldn't say bad. If you're going to be on a mid basketball team, it's probably better be in Miami than in Milwaukee.
I have a hard time looking at this trade and saying that it made Miami better.
It's hard because when he's at his best, Giannis is the top 3 player in the world.
Sure.
And Bam Adebayo is really talented. And I know his 83-point game gets scrutinized because of the foul baiting and whatever. And I get that. But he's talented. He's an Olympian, a gold medalist. He's a good player. Bam Adebayo is a really good player. So him and Giannis together, honestly, is a really scary duo. And if they can figure out how to get other pieces around them, if they can keep Powell in free agency, honestly, the East is weak enough that you never know who could make a run. But to your point, the reason why the Knicks ran through the East, literally ran through, 13 wins in a row, and
Before
won the NBA Finals, is because they were just deeper than everybody. Not only are they deeper than everybody, but they're not top heavy. I mean, Brunson is a good player, but he took a pay cut so they could add other pieces, right?
Right.
Their starting 5, they never had the best player on the floor. I would argue Donovan Mitchell was better than Jalen Brunson. Right? They never had the best player on the floor, but they had the best 5 players on the floor at all times. And that's just how it is.
That's credit to their depth. That's credit to I mean, you even saw performances from Landry Shamet, who came in and played really great basketball for the Knicks.
Josh Hart.
Right.
OG.
And we've learned that throughout the course of the last couple of NBA championships is that you need to have those depth and you need to have those type of players on your roster that can sub in and put in a shift to get you to where you want to be. And now, I mean, sure, I think Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez are losing those two.
I like Jaime Jaquez.
I like Jaime Jaquez too, and I think losing both of those guys. I mean, it's a great haul for the Bucks. You get plenty of picks. You get plenty of really good really good depth pieces. You get a couple of, you get one high caliber player like Tyler Hero. But good move for the Bucks. I not having the depth for Miami is what's going to worry me.
Another trade went down. Julius Randle also sent by Minnesota to Brooklyn in a big 4-team trade. That one doesn't really change the NBA landscape, so we'll kind of gloss over that. Unless you really feel like talking about Julius Randle.
No.
I mean, I guess the big thing is it takes the Chicago Bulls out of the running for Walker Kessler because they were rumored to want him. They get Nick Claxton, and they're paying him some money, so supposedly they're not going to be in on Walker Kessler. I guess it's relevant for those reasons, right? But any other quick thoughts on that one?
No, good on the Timberwolves for moving on from Julius Randle, who
that's a good way to put it.
Ghosted in the playoffs. Good move for the.
And then they follow that up with an absolute head scratcher.
Yeah,
trading for LaMelo Ball.
What? Why?
You do so good getting off of Julius Randle, clearing up all of this money just to spend it on LaMelo Ball. And I get, we talked about analytics earlier on in the show. I get LaMelo Ball is an analytical darling. Like some of his spreadsheet numbers make him look like a really good player. But how much of that is he was playing in Charlotte where they just did not give a rip about what happened on the court? It's go out there and have fun on 3.
Yeah.
Let LaMelo shoot the air out of the ball. He scored 100 points in a high school game. Let's see if he can do it in the NBA.
And also, you lose Naz Reid in this.
Right, and that's the big thing. They traded Julius Randle, and it's like, okay, their starting 5 could be Ant, Dosunmu, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and Rudy Gobert. Like, that's a really good starting 5.
Right.
But then you send Reid to Charlotte, and now you have a hole at the power forward.
A big reason, going back and watching the Timberwolves series from the last couple of years, a big reason as to why they were so successful, why they got to the levels that they got to. Naz Reid had a big part to play with that. Why? Because of the depth, Christian.
Yeah,
because
he was a big 6 man.
He was coming off the bench, and he was doing and he was anchoring that second unit for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now you move on from an important piece like Naz Reid, and you bring in LaMelo Ball, and it's a head scratching move. Even more so when you factor in Julius Randle leaving the night before the draft.
Yes. Well, and the other part of it too, they had to attach a pick to Julius Randle to get off of him. To entice Brooklyn to take on his salary. They're sending the rest of their picks to Minnesota. Well, it's Naz Reid, a first-round pick, and then 3 pick swaps because literally they are out of picks. They are all out of assets. They're tying up all of their money to Dosunmu and LaMelo Ball now, plus Anthony Edwards. Rudy Gobert is on a sizable contract, Jaden McDaniels as well. So they are out of money. They are out of draft picks. If this trade does not work, the Timberwolves are sunk. They're going to have to trade Anthony Edwards.
We've seen all in. But this is
all
in. If this doesn't work out, and that championship window, closes for Minnesota.
It's going to slam shut.
What are they going to do? How do you move on from that? And I don't know if you want. Obviously, you don't want to move on from Anthony Edwards, but is it going to take a move for Anthony Edwards? In 2 years,
right,
to eventually get back in a spot where you can do something for this franchise because you are all in with these moves.
The LaMelo thing is interesting because we heard a quote. I believe it was Chris Finch, the head coach, or maybe it was their GM. I think it was right after the playoffs ended. It said they wanted to look for a lead ball handler so Anthony Edwards could play off ball more, and that's what LaMelo Ball is. So fit, as far as that, is a good fit. There was a graphic because ESPN loves to put up graphics to make all the trades look pretty. Some graphics said, players to average 20 points and 7 assists over 3 straight seasons. LaMelo Ball was only one of like 4 or 5 players ever. That on paper, sure, looks cool. He's going to get everybody involved. But Alex, the reason you and I are sitting here picking this trade apart is because we know what a knucklehead LaMelo Ball is.
Yes.
He's an idiot.
Did we just completely forget about the car crash situation that happened literally less than 4 months ago?
Right.
Like this isn't new. This isn't something that's coming out post the trade or whatever. Like what comes with being a ball. Right?
With bringing a ball brother in.
Right. You know what comes with bringing one of these guys into your franchise. And so that is why this is a head scratcher for me.
And does it not raise a red flag that Charlotte, coming off their best season in years, and the future is looking so bright for the Charlotte Hornets, they're like, sure, yeah, go ahead and take him.
Yeah, take him.
They're on the up and up.
That's a red flag. That's a red flag within itself.
Yes.
It makes it mind-boggling trade. Makes no sense for me.
So the Jazz are going to beat the Timberwolves in the playoffs a year from now.
Yes.
I'm calling it right now. They're going to match up. I don't know what the seeding is going to look like, but they're going to match up. The Jazz are going to win that series. Send Rudy home.
I would say so, yes.
You heard it here first on the Saturday show. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles.
There you go.
Real quick. Some news last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder are bringing back Isaiah Hartenstein on a 3-year, $75 million contract. The reason this is relevant is because this ties into all the numbers with Walker Kessler and the rumored $28 million per year contract offer that the Jazz had on the table for Walker. Walker has turned down up to this point. 3 years, 75, of course, $25 million a year. That's showing that is right about fair value for Walker Kessler. And I would be shocked if Walker gets a ton more than that. Because frankly, Isaiah Hartenstein has accomplished more than Walker Kessler to this point in his career, as far as he was the missing piece that helped the Thunder win a championship.
I think looking at this from the numbers perspective, right, the contract perspective, I think that this is really good news for Jazz fans. Because this is this you see where the market is.
Yeah.
As far as the potential of somebody coming in and putting an offer down for Walker Kessler, you see where the market is for somebody like Hartenstein, and so that I think bodes well for Jazz fans who are, wanting Walker Kessler back, and are afraid that someone's going to come in and overpay for Walker Kessler.
Yeah, you'd be shocked if Walker gets a ton more than Hartenstein. I'd say $28 million a year is perfect.
Yes, which again the Jazz can go and turn and match it.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. Coming up next, we will kind of set the scene for the big press conference coming up at noon. Darren Peterson, Austin Ainge, and Ryan Smith talking to the media here in about 15 minutes. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Overwhelmed? That was me with diabetes. Hey, I'm Jabron. Between teaching and coaching, managing diabetes felt like an extra job. With the Freestyle Libre 3 CGM, I get real-time glucose readings and have the insights to make informed decisions. My life feels lighter now. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
The grill is shot. The chairs are held together by optimism. And what happened to the rug? Sounds like your outdoor setup is not ready for patio season. Fix it all with Wayfair. Shop Wayfair for grills, rugs, furniture, and more. With 20 million 5-star reviews, room of choice delivery, and expert setup on qualifying orders, it's never been easier to do more for less. Get 10% off your first eligible purchase. Hurry to wayfair.com or download the app now.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Miami, July 5th and July 31st. Ice Cube's Big 3 is back at the Amerant Bank Arena, featuring big stars like Dwight Howard, Joe Johnson, Lance Stevenson, and more. And featuring your home team, the Miami 305, led by Michael Beasley. Grab your tickets now at big3.com/tickets or Ticketmaster. Presented by iHeart.
If you walk into a room and can't remember why, it could be nothing or something more. If you confuse a familiar recipe, it could be a slip-up. Or it could be associated with amyloid plaque buildup in the brain. Amyloid is a protein that your body produces naturally, but a buildup in the brain could lead to memory and thinking issues. To see what may be behind your memory and thinking issues, talk to your doctor about getting a full assessment. It's never too early to start the conversation. Visit amyloid.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thank you for tuning in, making us a part of your Saturday morning. I'm Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles here with me. We got Sean Croshaw playing some Beastie Boys. Really awaiting the press conference here in about 10 minutes. The Utah Jazz are going to introduce Darren Peterson, their second overall pick in Tuesday's draft. Supposed to come in and be the face of the franchise. Everybody is really excited about this dude. Touchdown in Salt Lake City last night, had a big welcoming party, saw him signing a bunch of autographs. So that's going to get going here in about 10 minutes. Alex, real quick, some World Cup talk. We jinxed Team USA.
Yes.
They lost to Turkey.
Yes. They lost to Turkey 3-2, but
what was that? Did you just say Turkey?
I did say Turkey. To Turkey, and I saw the overreactions online. I saw a lot of people disappointed. I mean, obviously you can be disappointed with the performance, but the overreactions were a little bit much. It was a rotated squad. It was a game where the U.S. already won the group. Turkey was already eliminated. I wouldn't read too much into it more than the depth just needs to be a little bit better for the U.S. men's national team. I wouldn't read too much into the loss. The next one is going to be the important one. That's a Wednesday night matchup, 6 p.m. against Bosnia and Herzegovina for the round of 32.
And that is official. They will be playing Yusuf Nurkic's home country.
Yes.
Bosnia and Herzegovina. What was
Herzegovina.
Herzegovina. Bosnia.
There you go. Yes.
I'll stick with Bosnia.
Yeah, there you go.
That's interesting because they're stationed in Salt Lake City, by the way.
They are, yes. They've been using the facilities from RSL. They've been using the RSL Stadium and all those facilities down there. And so that coming into the World Cup, they're one of the teams that I was like, I hope they do well because they're here in Salt Lake, and now here they are playing the host country.
And you'd like to think that the United States has a good chance.
Yes, I think the team will come down to the midfield and honestly the health of Christian Pulisic. If Pulisic is healthy, ready to roll and ready to go, the U.S. got a good shot. They can take advantage of a midfield that lacks a little bit of that World Cup experience, lacks a little bit of that World Cup I don't know if maturity is the right word, but there is a lot of young guys in the midfield for Bosnia. So I think this game will be won in the midfield for the U.S. And they haven't won an elimination game in a World Cup since 2002. They haven't beat a European country since before the last World Cup.
Talking about U.S.
Yes. So there's a lot riding on this game for the U.S. and we'll see. I'm sure Santa Clara and the Bay Area will show up and make that a rocking environment for the round of 32.
We will see. Go USA. Go USA, baby.
World Cup's been fun, man.
It's been awesome.
It's been super fun to watch. Continue to love the fan reaction and people celebrating on the streets, man. It's what the World Cup's about.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up next, you are going to hear from Darren Peterson, the newest Utah Jazz man. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Miami, July 5th and July 31st. Ice Cube's Big 3 is back at the Amerant Bank Arena, featuring big stars like Dwight Howard, Joe Johnson, Lance Stevenson, and more. And featuring your home team, the Miami 305, led by Michael Beasley. Grab your tickets now at big3.com/tickets or Ticketmaster. Presented by iHeart.